Good morning. Van Gogh and Riley checking in for the day. Today is Wednesday, July 17th, and it is day number 76 of our Appalachian Trail through hike attempt. And this was our campsite last night. So like I said in our closeout video yesterday, we got to we passed Pine Grove Shelter, which was like 0.7 of a mile after Interstate Route 70, US Route 70, where there's a big bridge that crosses over the interstate. And yeah, about 0.7 of a mile after that, got to Pine Grove Shelter, and then not sure what the mileage is, but maybe like 1.8 miles or so after that. We just walked up this wide trail, fairly gradual ascent, and got up to this side trail that leads a 1/4 mile to a popular spot called Annapolis Rocks. And there's a Potomac Appalachian Trail Club, abbreviated PATC campsite, that's available for people to use right here at the Annapolis Rocks area. And the next campsite for us was like at least 1.7 miles away, and it was already like 10 o'clock, so I opted to walk the 1/4 mile, even though I don't like walking side trails that are much longer than 1/10 of a mile. But it wasn't too bad. We got here, and this is tent site number 3. There's 13 total tent sites, so one reason for coming here was just that I knew, or I was pretty confident that we'd be able to get a good tent site. This is, yeah, and like I said, this is tent site number 3, and it's got 3 designated tent pads. Those 2, I felt like the ground was pretty hard and would be hard to get a stake in, but for this one, the ground was much softer, so I was able to set up our tent without having to fight the ground too much. So that was good. Riley and I got a good night's sleep last night, and that's where the sun is. So whatever that means for the time, it seems relatively low in the sky. So I don't think it's like 10 o'clock right now. So that's, yeah. Anyway, it's not too hot right now. So we're going to get started hiking, and we will check in later. All right, Van Gogh and Riley back again. I just feel like I should explain my my mood a little bit more. I feel like in my initial video, I was lacking any excitement, lacking any joy in my voice, and I feel like that's just accurate. Yeah, I'm not upset, I'm not frustrated. But I'm just, the morning is just filled with a series of just a whole bunch of chores to clean everything up from our tent and pack the tent down, and then get the bag ready. It takes me a long time every morning, and I don't try to rush it. I just go about it very methodically, just do one thing at a time, make sure it's done in a way where I know where everything is, and I organize everything so that the rest of the day can be as smooth as possible. Like for example, I get our food ready, so I always I get a bag full of Riley's food, which I organize in a bag, and I'm repeating myself here, and I just put it in my pocket pouch, and I get my peanut butter jars filled with food. So like I have one peanut butter jar that's filled with rice that hydrated overnight, and another jar that's filled with oatmeal and raisins and chia seeds, and I haven't added water to it yet, but when I do add water to it later on, it shouldn't take too long to hydrate. yeah, so just a lot of morning chores, and that's why I don't feel a lot of excitement. And I just also feel just apprehensive, a little nervousness about, what's to come in the day. Just worried about dealing with the heat, and hopeful that the heat isn't as bad as yesterday. And of course my body's sore. My body's just it feels fine. Like I'm not hurting at all. But when I walk around, I feel I'll be fine to walk today, but when I'm walking around the campsite in a non-hiking style, I can really feel just how much my body's been working, and that's been the case the whole hike. And in a sense, I like that, because I feel very attuned with how my body's feeling, and I can. It makes me appreciate the rest that I get. But at the same time, it makes me want to not exert any unnecessary energy. So I feel like that partly includes being excited, and unless there's a really good reason to be excited, it's just extra energy that I'm spending that I could otherwise be conserving. So just wanted to explain that. I think the main thing is just apprehensive-ness and slight amount of just the uncertainty about what the upcoming day is going to bring to us. There's always the possibility that the main thing is just dealing with the heat. So with that said, we should get started with the day and try to get some hiking in before it gets too hot. So we're going to do that, and for the second time, we'll check in later. Okay. So I'm at the little informational sign here at the Annapolis Rock Backpacking Campground, and this is the map that explains where everything is. So this is the Appalachian Trail here. We stopped right at this point here last night, going northbound, and then walked the quarter-mile Blue Blaze Trail. This is where we are now, and to get to our campsite, we took a left here, and there were people in this tent site, which I saw, and so we kept on walking, and then we got to this tent site number 3, and that was unoccupied, so that's where we stayed last night. And now I see where the actual Annapolis Rock viewpoint is in relation to everything. So if we want to see that, we would need to continue down the Blue Blaze Trail that way, and that would take us to the Annapolis Rock area. But that is further away from the Appalachian Trail. I don't want to do that, so we're just going to go back on the Blue Blaze Trail, get back on the Appalachian Trail, and continue our journey. Nothing against Annapolis Rock, but we've seen plenty of views. We're going to continue to see views. So we might as well just stay on the AT. Okay, bye for now. So, Riley and Van Gogh here. Day is going okay. It's not quite as hot as yesterday. We took but Riley's still been asking to take breaks. We did take a extended break a short while ago, and now we're trying to continue on. But so actually there was another hiker named Finger. I think now Riley's asking to take another break here. He just wants to go ahead. There's another hiker named Finger that we were hiking with yesterday, and he apparently stayed at Annapolis Rocks also last night. And Riley and I got off to an earlier start than he did, and then he caught up to us and passed us. And that motivated Riley to hike. Oh, Riley, goodness gracious, come on, man. All right. That motivated Riley to hike for a good long bit. And then there was another hiker going southbound who passed us in the other direction. And that totally took Riley's motivation away. Then Riley just wanted to plop down and just watch where the other hiker went. And so that's when we took our extended break a short while ago. And it wasn't that comfortable because it was just like on the side of the trail. It's not like we were in a easy spot to take a break. But we made the best of it. And I started to get tired and just kind of took a short cat nap. Then we heard hikers coming in the other direction. Well, going southbound, approaching us. So that we weren't in their way, I decided to put my pack on. I was ready to see if we could get moving again. And so got my pack on, and we hiked up a little ways, and then eventually we crossed paths with the other group of hikers. It was 2 young girls, and I guess their dad. And they were all happy to say hello to Riley, and Riley was happy to say hello to them. And then they hiked on. Anyway, so I'm just saying this, so the past 2 hikers, or the past 2 groups of hikers that we've seen, have both been going in the wrong direction. I say that kind of jokingly, but they're going southbound. And so they're not motivating Riley at all to go northbound. They just are motivating Riley to stop and look in the southbound direction. And that's not helpful to us. Not helpful. But it's not their job to be helpful to us. They're just doing what they're doing. Of course, it's fine. What was I gonna say? Yes, the train. Yeah, so we're kind of going through like a mini Rocksylvania right now. We're in the northern part of Maryland. We probably have less than 15 miles until we cross into Pennsylvania. It's possible we'll get to Pennsylvania by the end of the day today. The first part of Maryland, like the first day coming out of Harper's Ferry and then all day yesterday, it was pretty good terrain, not too rocky. But this part, I do remember from 2018 that there was a pretty rocky stretch in Maryland, and now it seems like we're hiking through it right now. So it's this stretch after. So after Annapolis Rocks, there was this place called Pogo Memorial Campsite. So pretty much after Pogo Memorial Campsite, or a little ways after there, into the stretch that we're in now, it's quite rocky. So it's it's not like it's nothing that we haven't experienced before. There's plenty of rocky places all over the trail in every single state, but this is one of those places in Maryland where it's quite rocky. Just checking in. This is Van Gogh here. Mr. Riley is right there. Taking a break. We're both taking a break. I stopped to give Riley a break. The day has progressed somewhat since the last time that I checked in. We have taken a few more breaks at different times, but we also got some good hiking in. During one of our breaks, we actually got to a campsite, so we were able to spread out for a bit. And then a hiker actually came up going northbound, a guy who's on a day hike. And so that motivated Riley to continue on. And so we were able to catch up to him actually, and then we had a nice conversation. His name was Seth, and he actually lives local to the area. He said he parked at a parking lot just near where the AT crosses the road, and he went up to hike to this place called Black Rock Cliffs, which is another viewpoint just about a mile north of the Annapolis Rocks place that we camped at last night. And so we passed Seth actually earlier this morning. We were going north and he was going towards Black Rock Cliffs. And then he passed us when we were taking a break. And then we got to hike back down to the road with him. And he provided some good conversation. But then he went back to his car, and Riley hasn't been super motivated to hike on since then. We've made it probably about a half a mile. And in total, we've hiked about 7 miles today. And we're a little less than 10 miles from the Pennsylvania border, the Maryland-Pennsylvania border. I've given Riley a couple servings of his freeze-dried food. Most recently at the road, just after the road crossing. So I don't think he needs more food now. I think he just needs some time to catch his breath. And we're gonna give him that. And it wouldn't hurt if another hiker comes on in a little bit after Riley has caught his breath to give him some more motivation to go north. I am going to do some reading right now, so we'll check in later. All right, so Van Gogh and Riley are back. We're still alive. We're still hiking, still on the AT. It's been a hot day for most of the day, and Riley pulled over to take a break because it was hot and he was tired, and I gave him some water. This is like maybe less than an hour ago. And then like 10 minutes later, I could start hearing the pitter-patter of raindrops on the leaves, and I could tell that it was gonna start raining. Riley is peeing out the water that has been hydrating him. Yeah, so I could tell that it was going to start raining, and I had already like started taking stuff out of my pack because I was planning to. I didn't realize it was going to start raining initially, and I'd started taking stuff out of my pack because I was going to dig into my food bag and get some instant rice so that I could start hydrating it, so that it would be ready for nighttime tonight. But I never got around to that. Once I realized it was going to start raining, I kind of hurried to get everything back into my pack. And then it started like pouring, and Riley and I got soaked. But it feels okay, because it's still, just because the temperature is still, like, it's not hot at all, but the temperature is not, it's not cold, so the rain doesn't feel bad. It feels refreshing. But I'm ready for it to stop. It's definitely tapered off. That's why I finally got the camera out. It's still coming down a little bit. Riley, come on, man. I don't know why you're not coming. It's like you're just standing there because I'm standing watching you. And now you're moving. Okay. So this is a very welcome... Yes, Riley. Very welcome cooling off here. It's I think it's getting close to 6 p.m. now. Riley, come on, buddy. So we still have a little bit of daylight left. We're approaching a shelter called Raven Rocks Shelter. We're only like, I think, maybe a couple miles or less from there. And there's still a chance that we might cross into Pennsylvania tonight. The Pennsylvania border is right after this park called Penmar Park. Pennsylvania, Maryland Park, where there's water spigots. So, and then just like 0.6 of a mile after the Pennsylvania line, there is supposed to be a campsite. So that is definitely, if we're able to hike all right for the rest of the evening, that is definitely a potential option for spending the night. Like getting to the park first, filling up on our water, and then just getting to that campsite. Yes, Riley. Yes. You're not happy with me. You're not happy with me. You're like, let's get out of the rain here, dude. Hey, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. Riley, can we walk? Can we keep going? Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Okay, so we're still walking here. The rain is tapering off. So it's done a good job for us. It's cooled things off. It's given me a shower. It's cool dry they off. But at the same time, it's not killing us. It's not just coming down relentlessly. It seems like it's just tapering off at this point, which is fine. It's good, actually. So we'll check in later, I think. Bye for now. Hello, Riley. It's me, Van Gogh. I am the director of this hike, the one that takes all the blame, the one that proudly accepts all the blame and all the criticism. Mr. Riley is my companion and the star of the show. So the rain is, like I said earlier, it's basically stopped now, and it just feels really nice. My shirt's like soaked with it's like I dunked it in a stream, so it's helping to keep me cool. Anyway, I pulled the camera out because there's like a blue blaze trail that leads that way. Riley and I are going to continue on the AT, but I think this is I think we're at an area called Raven Rocks. just because I saw it in my guidebook, and I believe it's one of the special sites along the Maryland section of the trail. And I believe that Blue Blaze Trail leads to a nice view. There's lots of, kind of just like the Annapolis Rocks area that we were at last night and the Black Rock Cliffs that we passed through this morning. We didn't take any of the side trails to go out to see the views, and we're gonna bypass the side trails as well here. But I mean, just right here, like, this is a cool rock structure, and there's a cool rock structure up there, all indicative of cool rock structures all around. So just wanted to capture that. Yeah, and we're gonna continue hiking. Definitely thankful that it's cooled down. All right, we'll check in later. Bye for now. More cool rock structures over there. There's the Blue Blaze Trail. Maybe it just like led from where I was over to here. Maybe it doesn't go anywhere else. I'm not sure. But yeah, those are just all cool rock structures. How long have those rocks been there? Eons, probably. Eons, I'm guessing. I'm blowing at my camera because there's a mosquito that was crawling on my GoPro. So, all right, we're gonna continue this way along the trail. Riley and I are battling for who's going to take the lead. So we just passed a side trail that led up to something called High Rocks. It was like a loop trail where it starts at one point and then it finishes back at a different point, and both of the start and the end exit from the AT. And yeah, I mentioned it's called the High Rocks Loop Trail, and we have just re-entered recently another very rocky stretch. So we are descending, but it's extremely rocky here. Nothing we haven't encountered before on the hike, and it's very good that we have daylight. The rocky stretches are so much more difficult when it's dark out and the visibility is reduced. But as long as there's good light, you can just take as much time as you need and do it safely. So it seems like we're kind of getting through the rocky stretch, and we're slowly getting to more level ground. We're starting to lose the light. I think it's probably getting close to like 8 p.m. Oh, Riley, what are you doing? What? Come on, Riley. I think it's getting close to 8 p.m. And from that side trail that went to High Rocks, we were, based on my guidebook, I think we're 3.7 miles away from the campsite that I was thinking about staying at, which is still a good distance, but we're about 2.5 miles away from Penmar County Park. And then from there it's like 0.3 of a mile to Mr. Riley. Mr. Riley, what are you doing? I'm sensing that I'm a bad person and I'm forcing you to hike when you don't want to. I'm sorry, Riley. I'm sorry. What's going on, buddy? Just take a break. What's going on, buddy? Anyway, so what I was saying was we're 2.5 miles away from the park, and I don't think there's any campsites between here, or I'm not optimistic that there's any campsites between here and the campsite that I was thinking of staying at. So unfortunately, that means we have a bit more hiking to do. And Mr. Riley, hey, look at me. How are you? Doing okay? Well, at the very least, Riley doesn't seem like he is super enthusiastic right now. So, I don't know what to say. Riley, shall we continue? If I walk forward, will you let me walk forward? Or will you prevent me? Okay. Riley, how's it going, man? How's it going, buddy? How's it going, big guy? Good boy. Yes, good boy. You're tired. You're tired. Oh, you're tired. Okay. All right, we'll check in later.